Today we're going to go round by round in redraft and identify that one player in each round that we should cautiously look at. I'm not going to say avoid. I'm not going to say you should avoid any players, especially if you're in a lot of drafts. But we're going to look at the market around that player to see if there's pivot points or reasons why we shouldn't. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're going to help you with your drafts. We help you build your dynasty teams. We help you win your fantasy leagues. We help you win those best ball leagues and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. And in the first round, this player, we need to exercise some caution, but I like him. I like him a lot, and that's Garrett Wilson. I'm going to like some of these players. So let's talk about the good first. Garrett Wilson's getting Aaron Rodgers back. He should be commanding a good target share. Should be getting some opportunity. The bad, the reason why he stands out in the first round like a sore thumb right now is because we're still waiting for him to unleash. And really, until he unleashes, he's technically not first round caliber, but the potential is first round caliber. So you're looking at him on his potential and making that draft pick. There's players around him here, but they're getting selected per ADP ahead of him. But some of them are going to fall a little bit. He may fall a little bit in your draft into the second round, and that's probably what's going to happen as we get deeper into training camp. But again, right now, 111, you're betting on the potential. That sticks out like a sore thumb. And with the running backs there in his range, they're running backs. They give you juice at the running back position, and then you can slam wide receiver for a good bet. Do a little hero RB if that's your strategy. But Garrett Wilson, we need him to click with Aaron Rodgers. We need Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy. We need all this to happen for a season. And that's something you may want to look at. In round 2, the first pick in the second round, Marvin Harrison Jr. The thing about the second round as a whole, it starts getting sketchy. I think there's a lot of landmines in the second round. A lot of good players. But really, when you think about an entire season, you could definitely see where things could go south for some of them. But Marvin Harrison Jr., a rookie, a top-tier rookie, a top-tier asset. But his upside is almost baked in right now. It's almost baked in. He has to have a Puka Nacua season almost to give you that return on investment here. If he has a good season, he does not give you a return on investment. If he has a good rookie year, it may not give you a return on investment. You might feel good about yourself, but it may not do that. He's getting drafted very high right there. In ADP, this is Underdog Fantasy, so the upsides accounted. The boom weeks are very important. But again, in redraft, watch his value. Watch where he goes, because there's other players on the board that you may feel safer with that's already getting that production, that's already looking good on the field. You feel good about that. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is good in redraft, but the price is getting up there. DK Metcalf 303 coming off the board. Just looking at his stats from the last few years, he's a good wide receiver. He has a stable floor. He gives you that upside. We don't splash on that upside, not enough. Like, I do not see him as a league-winning wide receiver. We're starting to share that target share a little bit more because now we got Jackson Smith-Njigba. We have two very good young running backs there. At 303, it's getting rich for my blood for that. It's getting too rich here. I want to take some stabs at some of the other wide receivers. To contrary that, though, you're looking at some of the other wide receivers on the board here. They also have question marks. The guy I like a lot here in the second round, two of them. I like Javonte Smith. I like Malik Neighbors for the upside. I think that's a great price for Marvin Harrison Jr. right there where he's going. But the market's hot for him. But still, DK Metcalf here at 303. I would like him a little cheaper in drafts. Christian Kirk, 409. And he's a player that you're just selecting wide receivers to get wide receivers here, and you're playing 0 RB. On top of that, though, you're kind of drafting with two condoms on here because he's very safe, but he's not going to win you any leagues. 12.9 PPR points per game. This team showed their hand. They want to push the ball downfield. They brought in Gabe Davis. They brought in Brian Thomas Jr. in the draft. They spent a first-round pick on that. They stretched the field. Trevor Lawrence, one of the top quarterbacks in the league when it comes to air yards per attempt. They want to push the ball downfield. Christian Kirk, safe player for fantasy. But we're at the 409. Is he really going to win you any leagues here at this spot? You're also looking at the 4th round here. You got other wide receivers here who may not be in the same portfolio. They may have more upside weeks. They may have more target share. But again, the wide receiver position at this point of the draft is starting to tier out a little bit. So you may want to start thinking about how your team's built. Calvin Ridley, 508. Now we're looking at this team on the Titans last year. One of the slowest offenses in the league, not running as many plays, 4th worst in plays ran on the season, but they got a new coaching staff. But we got a young quarterback here that's developing. He's very aggressive, but what if he locks in more with DeAndre Hopkins? I know the depth charts are saying Ridley, Hopkins, Boyd. I know that, but he's the one throwing the football around, and if you're on the field, you're creating separation, you could get that. We're at 508. So you're really putting a bet here on Will Levis. This is also a good time to look at the running backs as things are starting to thin out. You got Marquise Hollywood Brown there. You got Chris Godwin. We got some good wide receivers here on the board. Calvin Ridley going to a new situation here. Might need a ramp-up time. This offense is something you want to pay attention to. Also, can Ridley be a league winner? That is the question you may want to ask yourself. Jordan Addison, 607. We got a rookie quarterback. We got Sam Darnold there. This offense might be a little bit slower. And if it's slower, we know where the targets are going. They're going to Justin Jefferson. They're going to Hawkinson. Going to the running back. There's not enough targets to go around. He was good for a rookie. 13 points per game. Gave you some spike weeks here and there. The floor was okay. But is it enough to win your league? And can this be impacted if the offense is slower and the targets are straight up funneled to Justin Jefferson in a slower offense? Can a wide receiver 2 get you more than 13 points per game in this offense if it is slower? Pay attention to this offense in training camp. You got some veterans here. You got some other wide receivers to lean to. You're in round 6. This might be a good area to pound some running back. But be wary. Ramondre Stevenson, 7.1 ADP. Similar light, but at running back. Rookie quarterback, slower offense. Antonio Gibson's probably going to take some of the passing work here in the offense. He's good between the tackles. They sent him that money. But again, be leery on that. Looking at Courtland Sutton here with 8-round ADP. Bo Nix, Zach Wilson, slower paced offense. Air yards might not be there. Injury-plagued career here. Is he going to win your league? Can he be that guy that circummounts the odds? Or are you drafting with a condom on and you're just trying to get points here and there every week? He's got a good floor, but that floor might get nuked here. That floor might get nuked here. You got some running backs in this range you may want to look at. You got some wide receivers with the upside you may want to look at if you want to gamble. You may want to start looking at quarterback here in this range. But can you trust Courtland Sutton in this offense going forward? Romeo Dubois. We got a lot of wide receivers in this offense. We got a lot of wide receivers. We got some safer wide receivers here, some boom wide receivers as well. Last year, 10.4 points per game. Wasn't really prolific. We got some running backs here as well. Some upside tight ends. What are you going to do here in the 9th round? Javonte Williams, 10th round ADP. Might be losing his job. He's got to fight for the starting job in training camp. That's what the news reports are saying. That being said, we have an injury-plagued history with this guy. We are a running back in the 10th round. You want to take stabs at running back, but we also got some other running backs there as well. You may want to tread lightly there. This might be a good pivot point to quarterback if you're going late round quarterback, but it's also a slower paced offense. This may not be the year to go into Javonte Williams. Mike Williams, the other Williams here. We got Aaron Rodgers, but Garrett Wilson should command a good target share. I know I talked about him earlier. I like Garrett Wilson. But I had to pick somebody in the 1st round. But the thing is, he's not a guy that has blown up yet compared to the other guys in the 1st round. And then you're looking in the 2nd round as well. But Garrett Wilson should command a large target share. Breece Hall is going to get a target share. Mike Williams should get you spike weeks. He might have a good run here and there. But at 1105 in ADP, I just don't see him as a league winner. I'm saying the same thing about Jerry Jeudy too in this offense. You got Amari Cooper. You got Elijah Moore. David and Njoku should be getting more targets. Shout out to the Chief. So him too, they're in the same light. Throw them both in there. Josh Downs, 12th rounds. I don't care. You can shoot your shot in the 12th round. But the thing about Josh Downs, he's the 3rd Colt off the board in the passing game. AD Mitchell's off the board in ADP. AD Mitchell should be stretching the field. Target share might be in question. He lost some of his target share in the back half of the season coming back from injury, but he did have some games where it was over 20%. Michael Pittman will lead the team in targets. You got Jonathan Taylor. He might give you some spike weeks. He's a very good player, but the situation might not be too great in fantasy, especially if AD Mitchell hits. If AD Mitchell hits, or at least becomes dependable on the deep ball and gets some of those targets, Josh Downs' value in fantasy might decrease a little bit, and that upside, that league-winning upside you're trying to search for in the back half of the draft, 12th round, 13th round, 14th round, now you're trying to find that sneaky player, you may not find it in this situation. So in this part of the draft, I'm trying to find running backs that might step into a larger role if the starter gets hurt, or I'm trying to find that sneaky player in an offense that it's very ambiguous that could step up and be that player to really go off. In this situation, saying, hey, we got a quarterback that runs the ball who's very good. He loves to throw it downfield. We got a wide receiver now for that. We got Michael Pittman who's going to get a 25% target share. You got one of the best running backs in the league. I think the wide receiver in the slot, he's a very good player, but the volume may not be there for him to be there for the long term. Quentin Johnston, because he's Quentin Johnston, but we're also in a hardball offense, should be slower paced. Maybe he steps it up. Maybe he steps it up. Maybe he gets right. But they also added Ladd McConkey. He's going to get some run. Josh Palmer, the old faithful, has a rapport with Justin Herbert. I think the odds are not good for him, considering we might be in a slower paced offense. They've definitely showed their hand by trying to get a bunch of running backs in there. Quentin Johnston at 1306, considering this is a good spot to slam running back. Get your quarterback. If you're going late round quarterback, get you an upside tight end. There's a lot of other avenues you could do with this spot. Noah Fant in the 14th round. Really, we're in the 14th round. You can really pick up anybody you want. But if you're picking up Noah Fant here, you might as well just wait a few rounds and get the same production or similar production. It might be like 3 to 10% less. But honestly, it ain't going to be much of a difference. 4th in the offensive targets pretty much. Maybe even worse. You could go cheaper here. And that's really what I'm looking at. But those are the players that we should exercise caution with in every round. And it may not just be because of the player, but it might be just because of the market around the player. And some of these players I'm still drafting, but I have to force my hand and look at these rounds one by one, not just for you, but for me too, and really look at the total package here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.